This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Hey everyone, I'm your host Dani, and I'm the one going through this series chapter by chapter. As always, there's no spoilers past the chapter we're covering, and that means it's totally safe for first-time readers. I'm joined by my co-host Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he's guiding me through this journey. We'd like to acknowledge and thank our executive producers, Brandy and Kirkwood, Andre the Man in White, Chad Welsh, Sean McGuire, Rikky Morrisette, Yanis, Albert Lorenzo, and Eddie Costello. And before we get into things today, we just want to thank and welcome Coyote Paw and Joshua Lee to the Wheel Weaves Patreon team. Thank you so much for your generosity and your support. We really couldn't do this without you. And just a really quick spoiler warning before we get into this that you all probably know already, but we have read up to the end of Fires of Heaven, Book 5, and that means in these chapters we will likely be discussing events that happen in the first 5 Wheel of Time books. So if you haven't read those yet and you don't want to be spoiled, I would recommend going to read those and then coming back to these new spring episodes. And in this episode, we're talking about chapters 19 through 22 of New Spring.
Yeah, okay, so chapter 19, we got pond water.
Yeah.
This is a big chapter.
That's okay.
And then we got chapter 20, Breakfast in Manala. Chapter 21 is Some Tricks of the Power, and Chapter 22 is Keeping Custom.
Okay. Fun, interesting, boring, creepy, and weird.
Okay. That's a good summary of what goes on.
Yeah.
You know what's most exciting is after we finish this recording tonight, you can finish the book.
Interesting. Okay.
Right to the end. There you go. So let's get excited here.
You know, because I was thinking, man, this is taking a long time.
Yeah.
For them to, just get to what needs to be done here. Just because I obviously know. But, I mean, I suppose they need to get to know each other.
They do. They need some bonding. Plus, we know about the pond water incident.
Bonding before the bonding.
Bonding before the bonding. I get what you did there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good things that happen. And I also have to say that next episode, I'm going to get to officially reveal my favorite chapter for the book.
Oh, good.
And there's it's a good ending to this book. We haven't talked about it, but the ending of New Spring, I love it. You're gonna love it because you love all that politics stuff, right?
Yeah,
you love names and people.
I was gonna say, if you love it, am I really gonna love it?
Yeah, that's the question.
All right, you know what I'm really most excited for?
The fun fact, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I get that.
I was gonna say getting to Lord of Chaos.
No.
Because after we finish the next recording, then I get to start Lord of Chaos.
You do.
Which is sort of what... that was a terrible place for us to stop, take a break, and read this book.
But this is we did it so fast.
Yeah, we did. We did a good job of it, I think. I think it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So let's go fun fact.
Okay.
Fun fact, and then you can finish the book. It'll be great.
Okay.
Okay, now this fun fact, I know it's fun because it's hair facts. Now, that didn't get the reaction I was hoping for. Hair facts.
Wow.
2.0.
Whoa.
Do you know that we already did a hair facts fun fact before?
Was it my hair dye facts?
No. Oh, I guess it's 3.0.
Because I did hair dye facts.
Okay, I did a hair fun fact back in The Great Hunt about the Shanshan hairstyles.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So I know you remember all that stuff.
Top knot? No, Shanshan, you said, not Shinarin.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Oh,
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
How many people can we offend?
Yeah. So
here we go. The hair facts is because we get a whole bunch of customs about the McGuire, and it's leading into that whole land problem. And we'll discuss it when we get there.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, I know you don't like it, and there's good reasons why you shouldn't. But the hair-specific part is what I want to talk about.
I feel like the hair-specific part made it 1,000 times worse.
Okay, but let's just put that aside then, okay?
Okay.
Because many cultures have strong customs related to hair. So we're talking about growing it, cutting it, the length, the style, and many believe there's special significance to that. So, specifically looking at many indigenous North American cultures, there is belief that hair is tied to Earth and nature, and long hair is symbolic as being tied to Mother Earth, whose hair is long grasses. So, cutting the hair can signify loss or death in the family, with the old hair representing what is now lost and gone. And then also that cutting hair can signify a separation of past actions and the future, and that hair is often treated with respect. So that actually ties a lot into what we know about the McGuire, because we kind of get the whole, you grow your hair out, And then once you take your first lover, you cut your hair, and then it's like you're stepping into a new position, into manhood almost.
Right.
And that's kind of what's going on there.
And then you keep your hair cut to a certain length when you're fighting or something.
Yes, and then you have the Hidori, and then your lover, your first lover, can keep that Deori, the lock of hair.
God,
so
yeah.
it's a whole thing. But there's also a lot of similarities because, like I said, there's a lot of differences, but there's lots of similarities in beliefs about hair. So what RJ is pulling from for all this like hair significance is actually based on real life traditions. Because there is a traditional belief that maintains that owning a lock of hair from another person gives you power over that individual, and historically, giving a lock of your hair to someone is considered a sign of love and devotion.
Okay.
So, again, it all kind of ties together. RJ took his own spin and did what we have with the Malchieri.
Yeah, well, and then even what you were talking about reminded me of in Game of Thrones, where the Dothraki cut their hair if they lose a battle.
Yeah, so, same.
Sort of.
Yeah.
It's a, hair significant thing.
Yeah. So now, let's get into pond water.
Okay, well, first though, last time we had Lan getting into a fight with 6 dudes, totally winning.
Yep.
And it probably means more than just 6 thieves trying to get some stuff from him. It probably means that other chick is trying to do something.
Edane.
Yeah, trying to get him.
Get him dead.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we also have Moraine meeting Cadsuane.
Yes.
And Swan shows up to announce that everyone who is good is dead.
Everyone who's good, like, who's searching? The searchers?
The searchers.
All
Everyone
the good
who
guys.
was, like, doing stuff, I guess.
Okay. All the good guys got murdered.
And the Black Aja is real.
Yeah. Oh, man, so much stuff. And
Oh, my God.
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly. Well, no, they are dead, and the Black Aja is real.
Yeah.
So...
Okay.
All right. Now, chapter 19 is called Pond Water, and we have the chapter symbol, the wheel and snake. We enter in a Moraine perspective because she is going through with her plan to get out of here.
Yeah.
And I really didn't know if she was going to get to do it.
Yeah, we talked really briefly at the end of last episode about like whether she was actually going to get gone. And she does, in fact, get gone.
She does. She leaves. She sneaks through the common room, and she's fast and quiet so she doesn't attract attention. She heads to the stables to get her horse, and
just the horse, though.
Yeah, she's not taking her saddlebags or anything, so it looks like she's just going out for a morning ride.
Yeah, and she's leaving her pack horse behind.
That's right.
Because she's got 2 horses.
Okay. So she gets on her horse and heads through the streets and then heads to the gate, which is not open yet because it's not sunrise.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Too early.
Yeah, so she's not the first here waiting for the gates to open, though, because there are 3 very large men waiting, too.
Yeah.
So there is an old man.
Yeah.
A hard-faced young man, and both of these guys have braided leather cords around their heads.
Yep.
And Moraine notes them as being Malchieri.
Yep.
And then the third is an Arafellan man that she saw earlier.
Yes.
When he was leaving the inn that she was staying at.
Okay, did you go back and reread that scene?
We talked about.
No, we didn't. Did you reread the scene? Do you remember that scene?
I remember it, but I didn't reread it.
Okay, I gotta bring it up here because I want to talk about this.
Okay.
It's kind of funny because it's like so many times.
I think I remember when I was originally reading it, I thought that was Rhine going to get help for Lan.
Okay.
Right? Because remember, it was like, oh, he doesn't need healing from an Aes Sedai. And I was like, ooh, is he going to need healing from an Aes Sedai? And then, like, we get a little snippet that he's at this inn where the Aes Sedai are. But then nothing comes of it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I got to bring it up because Maureen thinks about it so many times in these chapters, like over and over and over again. So it was during the last chapter when Swan tells Maureen about all the Black Aja stuff, and then she heads back to the Gates of Heaven Inn, and in her brain she's like, oh my god, everyone's Black Aja probably now. But then she sees a part of a sister appearing in a doorway, and she can just see the arm with the shawl. She can't see who it is, and just for like a second, and then a very tall man, who had just come out with his hair all in the belled braids, he turns back to speak for a moment, and then a hand gestures, and then he strides past Maureen with a big scowl. And then Maureen thinks that she didn't see the color of the shawl, but then she goes into the inn, and Marion and Laurel are both seated nearby with their shawls, and Cadswin is also here with her shawl. So Moraine thinks that, like maybe somebody's looking for a warder, that's why this guy is like, all huffy about it, but she doesn't have time to think about that. So it is Ryan that she saw.
Yes.
But the question is, why was he actually there?
Why was he there, and who was he talking to, and what was going on? Because I remember he specifically said to Lan, hey, we're going to go do a pub crawl.
Yeah.
We're going to go drink at a bunch of inns and meet some ladies. You in?
Yeah.
Because he did say that before, so...
So the question is, why was he specifically talking to an Aes Sedai?
Yeah, or at least Moraine's interpretation.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Keep that in mind.
Don't ask me again.
I'm going to ask you like 6 times. It's going to be great. We're going to have fun with this.
All right, so when the sun comes up, the gates open, and the 3 men go through first, and then Moraine lets some wagons go through next, and then she leaves too. So the men and Moraine are heading in the same direction, so she follows behind them. But, far enough away.
Yeah, just being sneaky.
So that she has them in sight, but it doesn't attract attention. There's no way that they're ever going to know that they're being followed for the whole day.
Yeah, totally not. Totally not.
No.
She's got this.
So she keeps up with them until midday. They pass a village. The men don't stop. Moraine does because she wants to find the woman who's here.
Yeah, like the next one on the list.
Yeah, she's not here. So then throughout the day, she keeps following the men.
Yeah.
And Moraine thinks of ways she can safely approach them, but doesn't end up doing anything.
Yeah, because like
she wants to ask the guy what he was doing in the inn, but can't really figure out a way to just figure that out.
Yeah, I mean that's like the stage 2 or 3. Like first thing is she's falling behind and she's like, how do I get there, like up to them and not get attacked or kidnapped or whatever 3 guys are gonna do to a woman on the road. Like sure, she's Aes Sedai, but she doesn't want to reveal that.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, because
I did write in my notes she wants to hide that she's an Aes Sedai and not Channel, which she forgets immediately.
Yeah, well, not immediately. It was like 4. It was like
immediately.
Yeah,
next
it was immediate.
paragraph.
Okay.
In the next paragraph, she's channeling and revealing that she's an Aes Sedai.
Yeah, but Lan wasn't supposed to see that.
Day,
He's not supposed to see her do that. That was
later
supposed to be sneaky.
She even thinks to herself, I'm not going to channel because that can alert others around me to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's young Moraine.
Oh my god, I know.
She's feisty. We like it.
Oh my god, okay. So just as Moraine is about to forget about the men and go find somewhere to sleep, they stop in the middle of the road. They talk about something. One of them heads into the forest and the others head down the road.
Yes.
So Moraine thinks about this for a second and then decides to follow the one man into the woods.
Which one went into the forest?
It's Lan.
Lan went in there.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I love this little, chase sequence, because Moraine is going through the woods thinking, oh, this guy's such a bad woodsman because he left so many trails and signs I can follow him. But it's like Len's clearly doing that intentionally.
To see if you follow him.
Yeah, to make sure that you can, in fact, even if you're terrible, you can follow him no matter what.
Yeah.
So, it's great. Right. It's great.
Now, he stops by a big, wide pond in a hollow through the trees. And she sees that he's already unsaddled his horse, and now he's getting to the pack horse, and then she watches as he takes off his sword belt and lays his sword beside him.
Yeah.
And then he sits cross-legged facing the pond and seems to be staring off across the water.
Probably doing his Cody.
Yes. Now, Moraine considers that the others are going to be returning, but not too soon, since he's not working too hard at setting up a camp.
Yes. He's got time to kill, so, she's got to make her move before the other 2 come back.
That's right. So she ties her horse to a tree, and then she sneaks up so super quiet.
Oh, so quiet. She's so quiet.
And her game plan is to sneakily steal his sword.
Yeah, that's, right beside him. Yeah.
So when she's just close enough, she channels to grab his sword from the ground beside him.
You know what's so funny? She's channeling to bring the sword to her, but she's moved close enough to be within, almost arm's reach of him.
Why?
This was a bad decision. If you're going to channel...
You could have stayed in the bush and just,
magically floated it. Or, yeah.
Force powered.
Force pulled it.
Yeah.
I don't know, air pull it,
Yes.
do that thing. But
yes. And then also you could have wrapped him in air.
could have done a whole lot of things, but it's like, you don't want to reveal channeling yet, so.
Yeah, but come on. I don't know.
It's so good. I love it.
I don't get it. Like,
she's new, okay?
she's new, clearly. So Lan turns, grabs the sword with one hand, and the front of her dress with the other, and then just like
tosses her,
launches her into the air, into the icy pond, and Moiraine is so shocked that she completely loses Saidar.
She is not ready for this.
No, and then she stands up because the pond is only waist deep.
Yeah. This is the greatest. I love this intro so much. And then this is
what we got in, what was it? The Great Hunt?
That's it. Oh, it gets better because the things that she says, it describes this entire sequence to a T.
Yeah.
It's so good. Can I give you the highlights?
Sure.
Okay. And it's really interesting because this is the chapter when Moiraine in the Great Hunt. Yeah.
Arafel, right?
Yes, and she's also trying to throw Lan off his game by bringing up this old memory because this is the first time that she tells him that she's passed her bond with him to Morel.
Right.
So she throws him off to
or she will when,
that when I die.
Yeah.
And we know that from the fires of heaven. Oh my God, that happens. So it's full circle.
Yeah.
So she says, hey, do you remember the first time we met Lan? And then she's watching for a sign from Lan to see if he's thrown off. And he says, I remember. And Moiraine says, and still no apology, I suppose. You threw me into a pond. And then Lan, she can feel his amusement now. It's not hard feelings anymore.
Yeah.
And then she says, every stitch I had was soaked, and in what you bordermen call new spring. I nearly froze. Lan says, I recall I built a fire too, and hung blankets so you could warm yourself in privacy. I also recalled that while I slept that night, you dumped half the pond on me. It would have saved a great deal of shivering on both our parts if you'd simply told me you were Aes Sedai rather than demonstrating it. Rather than trying to separate me from my sword. Not a good way to introduce yourself to a borderman, even for a young woman. And then she goes on to say, I was young and alone, and you were as large as you are now, and your fierceness more open. I didn't want you to know I was Aes Sedai. It seemed to me at the time you might answer my questions more freely if you did not know. In the weeks that followed, did you suspect that I would ask you to bond to me? I decided you were the one in the first day. And then Lan says, I never guessed. I was too busy wondering if I could escort you to Chachin and keep a whole skin. A different surprise you had for me every night. The ants I recall in particular. I don't think I had one good night's sleep that whole ride.
Yeah, that's everything we're about to talk about.
It's so funny because it's RJ spelled it out to a T in the Great Hunt of how they met.
Yeah.
And then it gets put into new. It's fantastic. It's word for word.
Great.
It's all
great.
planned.
You know, it's interesting though, because we obviously haven't got to the part where Moiraine asks Lan to bond him.
But it's going to happen.
And what's interesting to me, because I was going to have some predictions at the end of this.
Sure.
About whether or not Moiraine asks, or if Lan brings it up.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he's looking for a way out of his predicament.
I was going to say, it's very similar to the Moiraine we got to talk about that when we get there.
Yes.
Okay, let's come back to that at the end.
Okay, but no, that is great. Because then, we're about to get into how he hangs blankets up for her.
Yeah, we're going to go through all that stuff.
Fire. Here we are. So he tells her that it is unwise to try separating a man from his sword. And then adds, my lady.
Uh-huh.
And then Moiraine has a new plan to get back at him because he's holding out his hand to help her out of the pond. So she wades over to him, takes his hand with both of hers, and tries to pull him into the water.
Yeah. He's too big, though.
He's too big. He just lifts her out of the water with one hand.
Yeah.
And so this is where he hangs up the blankets for her to have some privacy. Moiraine doesn't actually need it since she can channel herself dry.
Yeah.
Which she does, but then she just stays behind the blankets long enough.
Yeah, she hangs out and
waits
listens.
for the other two to come back.
Which is it's a good idea because she doesn't want him to know that she's Aes Sedai, so she can't be oh, I'm dry.
Oh, I'm dry now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because Lan's looking at her the whole time she was in that pond. I don't know what your actual game plan was.
Yeah.
What were you trying to do here?
I don't get it.
Yeah.
And so Moraine listens to the conversation of the 3 men.
Yeah, because the 2 guys came back.
Yeah. And so Ryan wants to know if she actually followed him. And then Bukuma is like, why are those blankets up? And then Moraine realizes now that all the men knew she was following them and then lured her into the woods instead of confronting her. And then she hears Ryan say, a Kyrianan. You may have seen a Kyrianan in her skin, but I never have.
Yeah,
and
this
he's
is like
clearly like going to take a peek.
He's gonna go take a peek. Yeah, it's terrible. It's like, Ryan, number one, you're jackass.
Yeah.
But it's like, good on Lang. Lang gets huge brownie points here for doing like the bare minimum.
Does.
It's great.
He pulls out his sword and says, no.
Yeah, don't do that.
Do that.
Don't do that.
And so Moraine prepares a few weaves and peeks through the blankets, and that's when she sees Lan is actually protecting her.
Yes.
And that's probably the moment that she's like, this guy.
Yeah, okay,
yeah,
okay.
Maybe.
Well, it's
because
interesting,
he's like protecting her even though all this just went down.
Yeah, and it's interesting what Lan says, because he says, you remember the sight of the 1,000 lakes, Ryan. Does a woman need protection from your eyes? Because we get in these chapters that, like, Malkieri men have this, like, very specific moral code towards women. And we can talk about why Lan and Rand probably get along pretty well. Because, like, same moral code of women need protection. But then Ryan, who is Malkieri but was raised in Arafel, is, like, leaning far away from the Malkieri customs here. So that's why there's, like, all that tension.
Mm-hmm. Right. All right. So, yeah, there is a tense moment, but then Bukuma calms things down and distracts them with some game called Sevens. And they go off and play it.
Some, like, try and kill each other game.
Yeah,
kind of, sort of. The point to take out of this here, because it's basically they sit facing each other and, like, draw their swords and, like, get real close to their necks. But the whole point is that Ryan's actually really good. Like, it seems like he might be beating Lan in this game of, like, getting close and fast.
I don't know.
To the neck.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what you can take out, is that Ryan is not a schlub with his sword. He might be a jerk, but he's good.
All right. Anyway, so Moraine really now realizes that, yes, for sure they are Malkieri. And so she tries to think of everything she can remember about Malkier and bordermen.
Yeah.
I guess borderlanders.
Yeah.
What are they?
Borderlanders.
Okay. So then Moraine decides it's time to come out, but as soon as she does, she uses some, like, Malkieri formality.
Yes.
Type of thing.
Sort of.
And says, I claim the right of a woman alone. I travel to Chachin, and I ask the shelter of your swords.
And this is where she slips up.
She gives them money.
She gives them money. You can't claim
because
the right.
She doesn't know for sure.
She doesn't, and she's like, sweeten the pot.
Yeah.
This is like the beginning of, like, not the beginning, but it's like the second instance of, like, the trouble in Lan and Moraine's communication is that she is personally offending Lan.
Yeah, by giving him money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so after a minute, Bukuma bows and says, to Chachin, my life above yours. And then the men go about setting up camp, and they don't really answer any of Moraine's questions.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, it sort of worked.
Yeah, and this is where it's like she's trying to ask questions, but she never really gets around to asking Ryan, like, hey, why were you at the inn talking to that Aes Sedai?
Right.
And she really wants to, but she doesn't.
But she can't really without revealing, like, that she was there, and...
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff, but also in her brain the entire time, she's like, ooh, I hope all these guys aren't dark friends, because that'd be bad. It's like general, because she's got dark friends on the brain. She's got, like, Black Aja on the brain, so...
certainly does.
Yeah.
And Lan also thinks that Bukuma's promise is a bad one.
Yeah, he doesn't like that, but also it's the thing about the whole, hey, if 6 guys in the daytime can't kill you, maybe 1 woman at nighttime can, so maybe this new chick here that is taken along is actually like an assassin sent by your ex-girlfriend. So there's that whole, like, there's levels of, like, nobody is really trusting of anybody.
Fair.
So.
Totally fair.
Yeah.
So Lan takes first watch at night, and Moraine weaves a ward of spirit around each of the men so that she is alerted every time that they, like, wake up and move around.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot because they're changing guards frequently. And then at one point, Moraine hears Lan say, I'd sooner trust an Aes Sedai, Bukuma. And then that really sets her up. And then so much for, like, hiding who she is and not channeling too much. And
yeah,
whatever,
it's all done.
Because then she channels a big cylinder of water.
Yeah, that's half the lake.
To crash down on land.
Just land.
Just land.
Number one, just land. And then
For
second...
like a full 10 seconds.
10 seconds. Yeah, well, count of 10. And she would be counting pretty slow, so...
Yeah.
But, like, that's crazy.
And you know what's funny is it doesn't have the effect on land that she wanted it to.
Yes.
Because he's just standing there.
Which is hilarious, because we get, like, Land's perspective afterwards, where he's like, hey, I'm not going to do anything because I am accepting that, you know, I messed up and we should just get on with it.
Yeah, but she's like, you haven't even
apologized.
shown any remorse.
So. But
anyways, at this point, Bukuma and Brian, they're like, oh my god, is it Shadow Spawn? I didn't know they could do that. What's happening here?
Yeah.
And then Maureen is like, not Shadow Spawn, you idiots.
I am Aes Sedai.
Yeah, and I just wrote so much for her hiding plan.
Yeah, it lasted a couple hours.
Yeah,
so
barely that. They all get settled in again. Lan doesn't make any attempts to dry off, and Moraine weaves new wards around the men and thinks that maybe they're all dark friends, and she also thinks that Ryan is pretty charming and pretty, while at the same time, earlier this chapter, she didn't think Lan was attractive.
Yeah, she does specifically mention that.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, she's like, not attractive.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about Lan not being very attractive.
Yeah, because Dane says that too.
Which is interesting, because, you know,
I know you think that.
In the world, was it ever mentioned that he's not attractive?
Well, you know, maybe he like grew into his attractiveness as a soldier man.
But I really, never pictured him as not attractive, I guess.
You know, TV show's not going to help that.
No, it won't.
So.
All right. Anyway, so chapter 20 is called Breakfast in Manala. And the chapter symbol is the Trolloc skull. And it's probably for the Trolloc heads on spikes.
There you go. Good. You figured it out. Awesome. Okay.
All right. So we're in a Lan perspective now. It's the morning. Moraine introduces herself to them as Lady Alice.
Yes.
And Lan noticed last night that she had been awake every time he took his turn at guard. And so he is like skeptical about whether or not she's actually Aes Sedai.
Oh yeah, he doesn't believe any of it.
He doesn't believe this is her real name. And she's told them that nobody can know she is an Aes Sedai, even other sisters. So it's like...
Yeah, definitely suspicious.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? My favorite part about this is the fact that Lan thinks back to the water incident here, and then he's realizing the look on Alice's face was the joy of playing a prank.
And then the childish disappointment that it had not worked out as planned.
And this is like all leading into the whole like, there's no way she's actually Aes Sedai.
Which is like the theme throughout all of this.
Yeah, and he kind of goes back and forth. But it's Maureen loves pranks.
Yeah, she does. All right, Lan thinks back on when they first saw her behind them, and Bukuma came up with some reasons why she'd be following.
Yeah, that's that whole like, hey, probably an assassin.
One woman in the darkness could kill them. Edain might have sent her. And then Lan also thinks about how Alice disrespected them by offering them money.
Yeah, it's totally like an honor thing, because if the woman asks for help and then you also need money to make sure that happens, I can understand why in their culture that would be like disrespectful, or you're saying, hey, you're not even good enough to live up to your word.
Yeah, maybe.
I kind of get it.
Yeah. So Ryan quickly takes a liking to Moraine, sending her all sorts of compliments.
Yeah,
and
he's
Moraine
sitting on her.
seems to go along with it.
Yeah.
She also likes compliments.
Yeah, she's not bad about it,
So Lan thinks about how all Kyrianen are schemers, and he thinks, oh my gosh, if she really is an Aes Sedai and a Kyrianen, there could be no worse combination.
Well, let's talk about his experience with the ladies, why don't we?
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of ladies. He's good with the ladies.
He's good with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they make it to a village called Manala after about an hour or so, and Moraine commands a halt for some hot food.
Yes.
And then we also get some information.
It's bell time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bell time. Yeah, we love it. Stripper poles and all. It's all there.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's great.
Fantastic.
And Trolloc skulls.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That too. But, you know.
But an interesting point about those Trolloc heads on stakes is Lan watches Alice stop beside the stakes to look at the heads and says, I should have hated to face these creatures with only a sword.
Yes.
And Lan's like, you face Trollocs? Where?
Yeah, because it's the whole, like, most Southerners don't even think they're real.
Yeah.
So.
And Moraine says yes. and then is like, I shouldn't have answered with a real answer. And then she says, shadow spawn can be found in places you never dream of.
Yeah, which is very cool because it's like her testing.
Yes.
So, very real situation still.
That's
and
right.
probably the danger was absolutely real too.
Yeah. So, the crew goes to an inn called the Plowman's Blade. And is that the first time we've seen that name of an inn? It just sounds familiar.
Does it?
Yeah.
The biggest thing I could find was there was a description of all the charts of the night sky in Varen's room back at like the White Tower, and one of the constellations was called the Plowman, and I did a whole fun fact about the Plowman.
Oh.
So
okay,
like
maybe that's that.
Possibly.
I could never have told you that that's where I thought of it, but
yeah, that's probably what it is. Yeah.
All right. So the three men sit together to eat, and Moraine doesn't invite them to share her table.
Yeah.
And so Moraine tells the innkeeper that they're not staying very long.
Yes, and then Lan is just getting like more and more insulted by everything Moraine does.
Yeah.
It's all bad. But it is interesting because it's like a cultures clashing situation. Like we get to see the real implications of cultures just not getting along because of things they don't even understand they're doing wrong.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so Lan and the other two men talk about this situation with Alice and how she's attached herself to them, and then, Bukuman went and, swore himself to her.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, is she really Aes Sedai? Is she not?
They seem convinced that she's an Aes Sedai, but Lan's not totally sure. And then they look around and realize that the chick is gone.
She's gone. Oh my goodness.
Her bowl's empty at her table. There's no sign of her. And Lan is actually impressed because he hadn't heard the sound of her leaving.
Well, who else impressed Lan with her sneaking skills?
Nynaeve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lan is easy to impress as long as you can sneak.
As long as you're, good.
But here's the thing. Is Moraine really that good, or did she use the power to help?
It's possible.
Do a little, shielding of the sound situation.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. Still works.
Yeah. So Lan goes off to find Alice, and he finds her in an empty street up the hill talking with a young woman. Lan sneaks up as best he can to get close to listen to what they're saying, and he hears the other woman say, there are some people by that surname up that way, and then Moraine is like, cool, thanks. And then once the woman is gone, Moraine says loud enough for Lan to hear, shall I show you how eavesdropping is punished in the White Tower, Master Lan?
Yeah.
And then Lan is shocked again that she heard him when he was trying to be quiet.
And what does Lan say?
Oh man, maybe she really is an Aes Sedai.
No, she says, I haven't been dropping no eaves, sir.
Oh, what?
That's Samwise Gamgee, because Gandalf's like, have you been eavesdropping, Samwise? It's not like I've not been dropping no eaves.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. When he shares about the ring with Frodo.
Yeah.
I know.
I had to do it. I'm so sorry.
Okay, well, you have to get up and get the shot.
Oh, no. That's the worst.
Okay.
Yeah. Cheers to dropping eaves.
Cheers. Oh. Nope. Okay. Anyway, what Lan actually says is, oh, maybe she really is an Aes Sedai, and she might be looking at Rhine as a warder.
Yeah, there we go.
Whoa,
it fits in with the story. Whoa.
Yeah, but what Lan says to her is, maybe your search will go faster if we help you look for this woman. And then Moraine's like, forget that name. Quit meddling in my affairs.
Yeah, but it's also important that he does forget the name because what's happening to everybody on the list right now and people who are looking for people on the list.
Apparently getting offed.
They're getting murdered. So,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, at least one did.
At least one and probably others. So
yeah, let's
be real.
One for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd go as far as to say all of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah?
I need more
I didn't convince you with that whole baby murdering situation last time?
I mean, yeah, that sucked, but,
you don't think that the Black Aja would go systematically exterminating the boys who might be the Dragon Reborn?
I think that they probably might, but I need more information to know if that's actually what's happening here.
All right, I guess. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, Lan heads back to the inn and tells the man about what happened, and they consider what's really going on and why Moraine followed them in the first place, and maybe if she really is trying to find some woman, then she would leave them if she finds her or whatever.
Yeah, but at this point, Lan's like, definitely not Aes Sedai.
Right.
He takes a hard stance here, not Aes Sedai.
And he's wrong.
He is wrong, but
She's not acting very Aes Sedai.
No, she's new.
She's definitely new.
Yeah.
So that's the end of this chapter. Chapter 21 is Some Tricks of the Power.
There's some good tricks here.
Some pretty good tricks.
Some stuff.
Some pretty good tricks. So the chapter symbol's the flame of Tarvalon because of the power.
Because the tricks.
We enter in a Lan perspective, and Lan knows that this trip is gonna be not so good for him, just based on how this has started. They ride hard, they don't stop long in villages, and they usually have to sleep outside. Alice is still searching for the woman, and she keeps asking the three men questions about themselves and their past, but they're all deflecting.
Yeah. A man's past belongs to himself and the people who lived it with him, and you don't gossip about this stuff.
Yeah, mind your business.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so now twice there have been some major storms headed their way down from the Blight, which is
the worst.
Apparently just terrible.
Yeah.
And the men are like, we have to seek shelter in the trees. We can't keep riding. And Moraine's like, don't worry. You're under my protection.
Ah, there we go. Some tricks of the power.
Yeah. And then she makes this like invisible dome that moves with them and deflects all the rain and hail so they can keep going.
Yeah. What is interesting is that the men thank her for this specifically. They say thank you, and Moraine's super confused because the weird politeness factor, there's the difference in the cultures that she doesn't understand why they're one way with not answering questions, but then they'll also say thank you for doing this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Yeah.
Deal with it. They also see small packs of like bandits, but most just avoid them because of their numbers.
Yeah, and they don't want to die. So,
yeah, except for on the fourth day of traveling, there's about 20 horsemen that bust out of the trees on both sides of the road, block their way. Bukuma does a count, says there's 23, and none have bows.
Yes.
Which means they're going to try to fight them with swords, I guess?
Well, it means that they can take some shots before they, like, charge in. So,
Yeah.
like, it's just a strategic...
Okay.
He's calling out the shots here.
Okay, but the leader of the bandit pack calls out for them and says, you know, if you just give us your money and the woman's jewelry, then you can go on your way.
Which is a lie.
Yeah.
That's a lie. Lan knows
Moraine has had about enough of this. And so she does something to like project her voice to boom like thunder and yells, "You dare impede the way of an Aes Sedai? Surrender or face my wrath."
Yeah, I love this. It's like full...
And
this
then-
is the first time, really, that she gets to do things.
Oh, yeah. Well, that we've seen.
That we've seen, but it's like,
Yeah.
she's really full on, like, she's going at it.
Yeah, because she makes fireballs explode over the bandits' heads, and then one of them calls out and is like, I told you she was an Aes Sedai, didn't I? I told you so.
I told you. A
she was
green under
with
three orders. There you go.
Yeah. But the leader calls out and says, you know, there's 50 of us and 4 of you will take our chances because we don't want to be caught and hung.
Yes.
Hanged?
We've had this conversation
Yeah.
many times, and I still don't know.
I know. And then Lan calls out and says, you know, if I see even one of you at the count of 10, it begins.
So menacing.
And
I
then
love
he
that.
just like starts counting, and then all the bandits scatter.
Scatter.
Yeah, they
Yep.
all run off.
It's really funny because Moraine is super pissed off because they let the bandits go.
She wanted to kill them or turn them in.
Oh, I want to know if you think there would be survivors. Moraine wanted to fight them, and she's like, hey, if you let them attack me, I could literally murder them with the power. You should have done that.
Yeah.
Do you think that she would have left survivors?
She said if there were, we could have
If
had
there
them
were. And it's like, you're the one who's kind of in charge of that.
in. Yeah, well, and Lan is skeptical about whether or not she'd actually been able to take on 50 men.
I mean, and that's fair. But it's like, they don't have bows, so they got to get in distance.
That's true.
So,
I don't know.
I think Moraine wanted to light him up.
Yeah, maybe. All right, but they keep on their journey, and Lan thinks about how it's not just the storms and the bandits that are making this trip terrible. It's also Moraine every single night.
Yeah, plus she's blind to a lot of stuff. Like, she doesn't really get the realities of the world. And it kind of starts with the whole, like, going up against 50 people situation. Like, yeah, you might win, but you also might not.
Yeah.
And taking that risk, it's not worth it.
Right. And also her whole, I shouldn't channel because it could alert people that I don't want knowing I'm here to my position.
Yeah, but then does it anyways.
And then just like Oh, man.
I mean, like, he wouldn't know that.
No, but that's also part of it.
Yeah, she is definitely blind to a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, things are bad for him every single night.
Yes. So the first night was the pawn thing.
Yeah.
The second night was sharp flicks of an invisible switch. Third night was sand everywhere. And then the fourth night got ants to crawl into his clothes and bite him at the same time.
Yeah, which is a Blue Aja secret.
Which is so funny. That's great.
Yeah. I know. Well, it just seems so childish. I just hate it. I don't know. I don't like it.
It's like the birth of their relationship, though.
I guess
it's
so.
how they start.
And he just accepts it all, and she is incredibly infuriated that he won't even just say sorry.
Yeah, but like he also doesn't think that he needs to. He's like suffering it because this is the McGuire thing. He literally thinks...
He thinks this is like the penance? What's the word?
Penance?
Penance?
Yeah. Well, no, this is the thing. The woman can set the price for the insult and like whatever it is. She gets to set the price. And there's no other woman here to call it off if she's being unjust.
Right.
So he has to literally deal with it and let it happen. And he's like, he thinks he's doing the right thing in this situation.
Yeah. And we get perspective change to Moiraine here,
Yeah.
and she cannot understand the stubbornness of Lan because all she wants is some remorse and an apology.
Yeah.
And instead of like saying those words to him,
Yeah.
she just continues to send ants in his pants.
Exactly. Yeah. So how do you feel about this whole Moiraine thing? Medium? You're medium about it?
I'm medium about it.
Okay.
I'm medium about this whole thing.
Okay.
I don't know. Okay.
It's kind of funny.
When are we gonna get to the fireworks factory?
Oh, no. Okay.
I just want to see their bond already.
Yeah, I know you do.
That's all I want to see, and I don't get it these two chapters, so it annoyed me.
Well, we know it happens, so do
I
you
know,
really...
but I want it
do you
already.
need to actually see
Yes,
it
I
happen?
Do. Yes, I do.
You're really hoping that's going to happen?
I
Okay.
really hope.
Okay.
If it doesn't, that'll be annoying.
Not just the lead up to?
Oh. Don't even.
Oh, man, okay.
All right. So Moiraine notes that neither of the men mention anything that's going on. Like,
yeah,
the other
nobody's
two.
talking about it.
And so she's like, well, they obviously know about it because the men are going to talk to each other about it.
It's like, not these guys.
No,
not
they're
these
not.
guys.
She also is not making any progress on learning about the run-ins with the Aes Sedai because they're too vague and deflect questions.
So it's really funny because we get all the time these Borderlanders don't play the game of houses. We've heard that multiple times. But, I mean, they're kind of like deflecting pretty good. Like, they're good at this stuff.
Yeah. I don't know if it's Game of Houses. It's more just like none ya business.
Yeah, but that's Game of Houses. Just like Burning Letters is Game of Houses.
Dangerous
which
move,
we get some of later
move.
on.
Yeah. Except that all the Borderlanders, like, they don't play Game of Houses. Nobody asks anything and nobody answers anything.
Exactly, which is totally Game of Houses.
No, it's not.
I'm just saying,
that's not how you find out information.
Borderlanders, they do the Game of Houses thing too.
I don't think
I'm gonna
so.
fight for that.
Nah.
So okay.
No.
Anyways, the real question here is like, which one of the sisters in Canloom is actually Black Aja? Because that's what Moiraine needs to know. It's like, which one is it? Which one is it? So do you think that there were black sisters in Canloom?
Probably. They're all over the freaking place. But I don't know.
But you gotta tell me. Yeah,
but
like,
I don't
which one?
think that Rhine was talking to a Black Aja.
Well, that's what she kind of thinks. She's like, oh, somebody's probably...
dark friends.
These three guys, they're all dark friends.
Yeah.
So, no, okay.
I don't know.
Catswin. No?
No.
Okay.
Oh, no. I said last time, she's the one that Moiraine needs to tell things to.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah, no. All right, so 2 days from Chachin in the village called Ravinda.
Sure, yeah. I'm going to take your word for that
She
one.
finally finds the woman that she's looking for.
It's actually kind of funny, too.
It turns out that this chick's in the process of building a new inn for this village with the bounty she's receiving.
And what's she going to call it?
The White Tower. Which Moiraine is like,
don't do that. She's like, what? You don't think that they're going to like it? They're not going to like that?
It's an honor. It's a tribute.
No, they're not. And by the way, we haven't even talked about it. This is the woman's 10th child. Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Moiraine is just like totally shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it turns
Plus
out...
the kid is like not even at all the one.
Even remotely.
Not even close.
30 miles from Dragonmount, a week before Guitar's foretelling.
It's like, hey, Moiraine, I seem to recall you writing some names in that book that weren't necessarily...
I know, but she is pissed off.
Yeah. It's like, I came all this way.
And it's funny because she even thinks to herself that she would punish the accepted
who
who wrote this name down
She's being salty.
letting the whole, like, I'm an Aes Sedai now go to her head.
Totally.
Because
she did the same thing.
Yeah.
As accepted.
Exactly.
She's just annoyed that she is on this personal quest now.
Yeah.
And this is a waste of time.
It is a waste of time. But when they leave Ravinda, the men are relieved that was a quick stop, and that annoys Moiraine even more.
She is, it's bad. She's not doing good.
Everything's pissing her off. But she does understand why Lan is not happy, and then she cooks up her next plan.
Which
and
is
she's
wasps.
like, hey, Lan, are you allergic to wasp stings?
Oh, man.
And he's like, what?
Wait, what? Yeah. Oh, no.
But at the mention of wasps, Lan turns to her and then lets out a grunt, and his eyes go wide because it takes a second for Moiraine to know what's going on. But Lan was shot with an arrow in the shoulder.
Yeah, he's just got stuck by an arrow.
Yeah, and
through the body.
Moiraine leaps into awesome Aes Sedai mode.
She does. She actually does good stuff here.
Yeah, real fast too.
Yeah.
She embraces Saidar, makes a shield to protect Lan, then herself.
Order operations is important there. Yeah. Lan first, her second.
She finds where the arrow came from and sends Air to seize the man who fired the arrow. And it's also enough time for Ryan and Bukuma to launch 2 arrows back into the man.
Yeah, and she's basically not happy because she basically just held this guy still for the arrows to hit him for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean...
But she didn't do that on purpose. That wasn't her intent.
No. But like, good Aes Sedai mode. You did good.
Yeah. And so, before Moiraine can even offer to heal Lan, he goes charging to the man with Bukuma and Ryan. And when they get there, Lan recognizes the man. Can
you say his name? How did the audiobook say it? Do you know?
I didn't write it down.
Kenidron?
Yeah, that works.
Kenidron?
Yeah. Kenidron, probably.
Kenidron, okay, I don't know.
Yeah. Bukuma's like, hey man, why? And he's like, gold, why else? And you still have the Dark One's own luck.
And this is the most important part.
He should have told me she's Aes Sedai instead of just saying to kill her first.
Boom, there we go.
And when Moiraine hears that, she's like, get the arrows out of him. I need to heal him. I want answers.
Yeah, I need answers from this guy. She doesn't say that, but...
too late.
Yeah, too late. He's
dead.
He's dead. So is this the guy, and clearly she thinks it is, but is this the guy from Tar Valon who is Kyrian and who checked with the bank and then saw her getting on the boat?
No.
Oh, well, no, not the guy. Sent by the guy.
Sent by the guy, yeah.
Sent by the guy, yeah. Okay.
Well, I think what really makes it clear is that he has 10 Kyrianan gold crowns.
I was going to ask about that because it's kind of funny because she's like, oh, 10 gold crowns, that's what it cost, because that's what it takes to buy a nice silk dress in Tar Valon.
Yeah.
And that's the cost of killing us too. So, but the question is that like an intentional thing? Or is it just like a ploy? Think of like Bran in Game of Thrones, the dagger situation, where it's like, if you're going to send an assassin, send the dagger from another dude so people pin it on him.
Yeah.
Right? Same with the Samael incident, too, in Fires of Heaven. So, like, who's really the bad guy here?
Yeah, I think the Kyrianan guy.
You're just going with it's Kyrianan guy.
Who's getting his
all right.
information, probably, I said, from someone in the tower, remember?
Yeah. Okay.
Something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It is this guy, clearly, because, yeah, I think so.
That's, okay. We don't have enough book left to get any further than that.
No, we don't.
So,
we have nothing, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
So as Moiraine is rooting through the guy's belongings, Lan's like, you gonna rob him too? And she stands up just as Ryan snaps the arrow off, and Bukuma pulls it out through Lan's body.
Yeah, that's how you take an arrow out.
Yeah, push it through instead of pull it back.
Yes, because the whole jaggedy ends.
Right.
Yes, push it through. Push it through, people.
Yeah. So they get his coat and shirt off, and nobody asks for healing, and Moiraine is debating whether or not to even offer it.
Plus, she's annoyed that Lan basically shows no emotion at this like arrow being yanked out of his body.
Yeah.
He's a pretty kick-ass dude.
I mean, like...
Don't show your feelings ever.
Sure. So Moiraine asks if Lan will accept healing, and as she reaches forward, he pulls back.
Yes.
And Bukuma's like, you probably need your right arm at some point.
Yeah, once we get to Chachin, because they know that he's going to be meeting up with Edain, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Moraine's like, I don't know what that means, but, like, let me heal you. And then she gets some satisfaction over the fact that he is shocked by
he does healing. Like the convulsion thing that you can't really stop, so...
Yeah. And so they leave everything, including the coins, beside the body of the dead man. Bukuma finds the man's horse tied to a tree close by, and Lan takes off the horse's bridle, attaches it to the saddle, and then sends the horse on its way.
Yeah, and this is really important because Lan's like, hey, now the horse can eat, and that's what saves Lan from the wasps.
Right, because Maureen wasn't expecting that kindness from
He's
Lan.
so nice to the horsey.
Yeah.
See, this is the theory we had about white cloaks and horses. It's like if people are going to be mean to horses, you're probably just generally a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
Same thing. Lan, not a jerk because he was nice to his horse.
Okay.
Not his horse, other horse.
Other horses.
He was nice to not his own horse.
Wow.
That's like extra
nice.
nice.
That's a very nice guy.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. So, chapter 22.
I gotta say, it's not wasps, but she does still do stuff, so.
More stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
She does. It's not like it's over.
It's just not wasps.
No, and she should probably just, give it up.
She doesn't.
No.
She persists.
She does. All right. Chapter 22, Keeping Custom.
Here we go.
Otherwise known as the chapter we could probably just skip because it's so gross and creepy.
Oh, man, you really don't like this one, hey?
No, I hate it.
Okay, well, it's
I
gonna
really don't like it at all.
It's gonna get worse before it gets worse.
Well, the chapter symbol is a horse.
Yep.
And we're in a land perspective now, so they all make it to Chachin.
Yeah.
Apparently this is quite a large city.
Oh, yeah, it's gigantic.
Is it like the capital of Kandor? I don't know anything about Kandor, so...
Yeah, it's the capital and it's the one on the map, so...
Okay.
There you go.
That's... Sure.
And it's huge. It's huge.
Big guy.
Yes.
3 impenetrable walls.
Yeah, it's gigantic.
Well, the first wall sometimes is penetrable, and the other 2 are not.
Yeah, definitely, because, if you get inside the triple wall, then it's like you're done, but,
Done. Good defenses.
Yeah, there's a lot of description about how awesome it is defensively, so...
And now Lan is very excited to get away from Alice, although he can't stop thinking about her.
He can't, but the last 2 nights were fleas and then black flies.
Ah.
Yeah, but not wasps, so...
All right. Now, Lan tells Alice the pledge was protection to Chachin, and so it's been kept. Now, get on your way.
And keep your coin. Ah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't want her money.
Yeah. And then Ryan and Bukuma don't like Lan acting like a butt towards her, but Lan is just super done with all of this, and so he turns his horse and gallops away.
And more description of the street and such.
Tons
and people
of it.
and
Tons
things.
and tons of it.
Yeah.
So eventually Ryan and Bukuma catch up to Lan, and they're heading towards the palace.
I like how you skipped the name.
Eyes de Char.
Yeah.
Eyes de Char Palace. Because Edane...
Yes, if she's here, she's gonna be here in the palace.
Yeah, and she's here.
She's here. We
Spoiler
find
alert.
yeah. She's here, guys.
Here she is.
Yeah, we don't have enough book left for her not to be here. They can't go anywhere else.
Yeah, and so Lan has time to think of the debt he owes Alice for the healing.
Yes,
This
he
is
does.
this is that whole he just can't stop thinking about her and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
he keeps crawling back in, so
Anyway.
okay.
So now they're at the gates and the guards stop them and Lan announces himself as Lan Mandragoran, and then there's a whole bunch of Taishar Malkier calls and he thinks, yup, she here.
Yeah, for sure. But this is just like at the other place where it's like, hey, when people are shouting that,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's Lan.
Yeah. Now, they're led through the yard, and then there's a bunch of description of the place here.
Of the yard.
And its defenses.
Yes.
But most important, Lana's very worried because the head serving lady herself
The Chetayan.
is leading them to their rooms because they're of high station.
Yeah, we actually got introduced to that in the Great Hunt, too. There's a lot of Great Hunt stuff that comes back.
Is that the whole Faldara Borderlander stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But also not even just that, but also the pond water, their meeting,
yeah,
that's
that
when we
too.
learned. So
Yeah.
there's a whole bunch of it.
Okay. Now, Bukuma and Ryan get their rooms, and although they don't have to share with anybody, they're not quite nice.
Yeah, they're not
Rooms?
fancy, but they're not sharing, so it works.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then Lan gets taken to his.
His is pretty fancy, but it's not
Thankfully, it's not
oof.
a visiting king's room, which it technically could be.
Yeah.
And
he
then
was
he
worried.
wouldn't have to, he doesn't want to have to refuse it or feel awkward about it.
And then be like, hey, I'm not a king because I don't want to be that guy,
Yeah,
so.
But he still gets a pretty nice apartment.
Yes, and serving women and an errand runner boy and all that.
Yeah.
And that's when he does this whole questioning stuff too. Because this is where he's like, hey, is Her Majesty in residence here? And the woman says
No.
And then he plays this, is the, Prince Briss here?
Yes,
And
of course.
Yes, of course he is, because he's not allowed to not be here. Like, one of them has to be here.
Right, and then, are there any other nobles visiting?
Yes, notable nobles visiting. Yes, indeed. So, okay, and yes, the Lady Edane is here.
Yes. Now, Lan gets washed up and ready to go.
Yeah.
And he is not feeling very ready to face Edane.
Are you ready for some Game of Houses maneuvers?
Oh, yeah. He has to maneuver correctly here. And he needs his meeting with Edane to be public with as many people as possible, but definitely not private, because then he has, no power.
Yeah, and we see how that goes.
But right now, he's really trying to avoid that.
Yeah.
Now, after a little while, one of the serving women comes in to tell him the Lady Edane sends a request for your presence in her chambers.
Ah!
And he's like, F that.
Yeah, no way.
Haven't recovered from my journey yet?
I need courtesy demands that I have given time to recover, and I'm not yet recovered. I'm not going.
Alright, so less than half an hour later, a letter is sent to him
Yeah.
that says, "Come to me, sweetling. Come to me now."
Is that your sexy voice? I love that. That's great.
That's my Edane voice. That's different. It's different.
Come to me, sweetling.
Well, I just... this, older lady.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh my God.
Alright. But Lan tosses it in the fire.
It's Game of Houses. Boom. That
Okay.
is solid evidence that they play Game of Houses
Game
stuff.
of Lovers.
Oh, man.
All right.
That's a power move if I ever seen one. That's why Lan and Maureen get along so well.
Maybe,
because they're like, hey, what do you do with letters? Oh, I just throw them in the
fireplace.
fire.
Me too. And then that's why they like Rand.
You know what? I want someone to send us a letter so that I can just throw it in the fire.
I'll write you one.
Yeah, okay, all right.
You want me to write you a letter?
Nope.
You have to read it, and then no, but some of them unread.
Don't even have to read it. I'm just gonna throw it in the fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lan didn't even have to read this one.
That's the world that I want to live in, where I can just
wow,
no.
So powerful. Yeah.
What is this? Credit card statement? No, thank
you. Who gets that? No one gets that by mail anymore.
Oh man, no, you know what I was saying though.
I know.
Okay.
Okay. Property taxes. That's the only one we get in the mail still.
Yeah.
Nope.
HOA fees. Nope.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, that's the worst.
All right. No, I don't care that you plant flowers in the neighborhood.
Oh, you mean the flowers you guys clearly don't water or take care of?
Perfect. Oh, God. Okay.
I have to spend hundreds of dollars for you to tell me to paint my fence.
Yeah, and then I'm not going to do it.
Oh, man.
Okay. Oof. Lan also gets here, though, that the serving lady is definitely on Edane's side.
Yeah, whatever this is, whatever's happening here, they are rooting for Edane.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but there are no more summons from her. And then the head lady comes back and asks if he's rested enough to see the prince consort.
Yeah. Is it Briss or Bryce?
Briss.
Okay.
Yeah. So, a little surprising to Lan, he's not led to a private meeting with the prince. He's brought to a large formal hall where there's lots of people.
Yeah. And this is interesting because we got a lot of people with the Hidori.
Mm-hmm.
And, did you pick this up?
The women with the dot on their foreheads.
Yeah, the key saying, because last time we were like, hey, what is that? We got a name for it, but now we know the key saying is a small dot on their foreheads.
Okay, so it's not what Maureen has.
Correct. It's not.
But now Lan is presented to Prince Briss. Sounds
Briss?
stupid.
Yeah.
It's too rhymey.
Yeah.
Prince Briss. Whatever. All right. So that guy is here.
Yeah.
Lan's presented to him. There are some formalities, but these two clearly know each other. They
they're
saved each other's
BFFs,
lives
basically.
a few times in the Blight. And then the prince's son comes forward, whose name is Dierik.
Dierik? I think it's, Dierik, maybe?
Dierik, something.
Yeah.
And he's super excited to
It's
meet
like
Lan.
an 8-year-old little kid who's super stoked because Lan is super famous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now Briss and Lan give the boy a chance to ask Lan 100 questions.
Hold on, what happened to this boy?
He's 8.
What happened to him? This morning.
Something?
He fell from a balcony like 50 feet and didn't even break a bone. Oh, yeah. Okay, 50 feet and didn't break a bone. He fell from the balcony. I'm just saying.
Oh.
Yeah, whoa, okay.
I don't know.
Can
you just tell me? What is it?
Well, there's nothing. I'm just like piling on the whole like suspicious nature of all the crazy stuff that's going on right now.
Okay.
No, nothing? Okay.
No, it's
cool.
Lan's good luck.
Yeah, that's what, yeah, okay.
That he's okay.
Well, and we got like when Rand was
he's
like
got like a
passing
bruise
through
on his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, but.
All right.
Okay.
I don't know.
No, that's good.
I don't have anything for you on that.
You know, Ta'Veren nature and all. You know, whatever.
Who's Ta'Veren? Lan or the boy?
Well, we heard when Rand was passing through as Ta'Veren, like crazy stuff would happen.
That's
like
true.
A kid would fall and not be hurt, and then people would trip and fall and die.
That's true.
Yeah. I'm bringing it up because it's like when weird stuff happens, we got to point it out.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Well, anyway, this kid is asking Lan all sorts of questions. Lan thinks it's kind of cute. Let this kid be 8 because when he was 8, he was already learning how to kill people with his hands.
I like that attitude Lan has toward this kid rather than like, you know.
I had a terrible childhood, so you should too. Yeah.
He's like, oh, my childhood was terrible. You just do whatever you want to do, kid.
You should have a happier childhood than I did.
Yeah.
But
so anything happy childhood for this kid?
Maybe, sure.
Hopefully. Okay.
After a while, though, it's time to get down to business, and then who shows up?
Ugh.
Idane.
Yeah.
She shows up and she's exactly as Lan remembers, but 10 years older.
Yep.
Before anything can really happen, though, she says, it would have been easier had you just come to me.
Nah. Okay.
And then kneels before him and pledges fealty to him in front of everyone.
Boom.
And the room erupts in cheers and shouting, the golden crane, blah, blah, blah. And
all that stuff.
Lan pulls the, there is no king of McGuire. The great lords have not cast the rods.
Yeah, and we know about that. We've heard that before.
Mm-hmm. And Idane says 3 of the surviving 5 are in this room. Do you want to see how they would cast?
Yeah, you want to test this? You want to go with this? No. No, we don't.
No,
okay.
Drop it, lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then the prince rescues Lan and leads him away and tells him if he knew she was going to pull that move, he'd never had her here. And if Lan wants, he'll withdraw the welcome.
Yes. This is an interesting thing that happens here because...
Should probably do it.
Well, I agree because it's like she's clearly terrible. It's the worst. But Lan thinks that, no, that would be deadly for you to do it. But like, he's the prince consort.
It would be dishonorable for her and it would be so insulting.
Yeah, but he thinks it's a deadly insult. But like, is she legitimately gonna do something deadly towards this prince guy? Like,
no,
crazy.
It's a deadly insult to her for the prince to withdraw the welcome.
I'm just taking the deadly part literally.
Oh, no, I think it's just like a deadly insult to her.
Yeah.
Like, she would die from the shame.
Oh, it's like way too, okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just depending on like which...
it's the most dishonorable thing that you could do. Like, she would be so dishonored.
Yeah.
If the welcome was
I'm just thinking in like the Idane head of like everybody thinks she's totally trying to murder Lan right now. Oh. Would she try to totally murder this prince for like the slight?
No, that's not how I read that.
Okay, yeah, that's totally fair.
Yeah.
So,
but he should probably still do it.
Yeah, probably.
But anyway, the prince asks what Lan is going to do about this, and Lan's like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, no idea.
If I know.
Yeah.
Probably just go have sex with her and then marry her daughter.
Oh, well, you know, that was plan B, but, you know, I guess we'll go for it.
Shoot.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe become a warder to get ready to run away from all of this?
Pull a Moraine and just like, nope, bail. Bail. We gotta go.
And then Lan gets led back to his rooms, and he's hoping to avoid Idane for the rest of the day.
And she's here.
Oh,
it's so funny. It's like, oh, this meeting that we're like, oh, is it gonna happen? Is it not gonna happen? It's like, boom, yeah, it's here.
Here it is.
We're doing this.
And Idane starts by telling Lan that he's super ugly.
Yeah, again, like, come on, guys, stop ripping on Lan.
But he has nice eyes. And hands.
And it's terrible because, like, what, you knew him when he was 15?
Yeah.
Can you tell me? It lasted for hours and hours. It's like, and he had good hands? Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Nope, not buying it.
I don't know. He was trained with his hands from like 8 years old.
Yeah, he was, but not in that.
Yeah, but well.
Yeah, well. Plus gross, anyways.
It's all gross.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Yeah.
Nobody likes this. Nobody likes what's happening
No,
here.
and now, okay.
Its customs are ruining everything. I hate this.
Yeah, so Lan tries to mention that she pledged fealty to him, and she's like, yeah, whatever, but we're alone.
And that means
And
I
I'm
have
still
power.
your first lover lady.
Yeah.
Carina? What is it?
Carniera?
Carniera?
Yeah.
Okay.
First lover lady.
Yeah. She tells him that she brought his Deori
Yes.
and go get it.
Yeah. So I kind of like the wordplay here because it's like the Hadori and the Deori. He's clearly got the phonetics thing of language down.
Yeah.
It's pretty great on that side.
Okay. So Lan goes over to this little wooden box, and inside is a long cord of woven hair.
Yes.
Which is like all soft, like it's lotioned every day.
Yeah.
It's the most disgusting, like, ooh, a burp in my mouth. Like, this is so
Hey, I went over, that's why I did the fun fact. I'm like, hey, there's some legitimacy to hair ritual type stuff.
Okay, but like, not for me. This is so gross and weird. And then, like, as he's holding it, he can't let it go until she's alive. He has to carry around his sad
it's
little,
the symbol of the relationship
disgusting lock of hair.
where she's in power whilst he holds it and forever and ever.
It's disgusting.
Oh, man.
It's
okay.
the worst. It is disgusting on so many levels. I'm
going to go on a limb here. I'm going to say, like, correct me if I'm wrong. You don't like this very much.
Not so much.
Okay. Well, good thing we're almost done the book.
Yeah, well, we also have to get to one more disgusting thing.
Okay, let's do this.
So, Eden leads Lan over to the balcony, and he's still holding his disgusting lock of hair. And
it's not disgusting. It's actually quite well preserved.
No, I just picture, like, great, like, lotioned hair. Like a braid. I don't know. I can't. God, it's so worse. It's worse than taking a shot. Okay, so they look down at this young woman, and Edane's like, that's my daughter.
Yeah.
Remember?
It's not a woman. She's a girl.
She's
a teenager.
17 now. Her name is Isel.
Yeah.
And
she's a child.
She was alive.
Yes.
When she was like banging Lan.
Yeah.
Okay, but like as a young girl.
Yeah.
And Lan has very little memory of her.
She'd be like a toddler. He was like 15. Now he's 25.
She's 17.
She's 17. There's an 8-year difference.
Yeah,
Is that how I'm doing the math right?
Yeah.
So he would have been like 7.
Okay, you think like toddlers aren't 8.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Okay.
I know that. I was doing bad math quickly in my head.
Okay.
I'm bad at math.
So a young girl.
It's like 7. Yeah, and he didn't pay attention to her. That's not what the focus was, clearly.
No, and I mean, like, realistically, a 17-year-old and a 25-year-old grosses me out a lot
That's
less.
also, well, okay, it's still not great, but.
No, but the age gap is better. It's not as bad.
It's not as bad, okay.
Well, yeah, and then you think about Nynaeve and Lan in 20 years.
Well, it's better because they're both like over the age of, like, she's 20, she's like
well,
mid-20s.
I mean, like, what's the age of consent in this world?
Nynaeve is like mid-20s. That's
no, I know
not
that
at all
now.
as bad. No way.
But if in like 5 years from now, this chick's 22 and Lan's 30,
yeah,
that's better.
Sure.
That's a better age gap.
Sure. Yeah. No, I get that.
All right. Anyway, turns out women get to choose their Carnaria.
Yes. First lover.
First lover, and men get chosen. So, like, they have no say.
So this is the thing, is what they're doing is they're choosing someone who's like older and experienced to be their first lover. So a man will be chosen by an older woman, and a girl will choose
an older man.
And it's like, it's terrible on both sides. It's just like, even though the girl gets to choose, does it make it better? No, it's still terrible.
All right. Disclaimer.
I
understand other cultures do things differently than my culture.
True.
Disclaimer. I understand people think and do things differently than I think and do things.
I get that.
In my world,
I don't like it.
I don't care for this.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the age at which it starts is that it really is not, I'm not a fan of.
It's young.
Yeah.
All right. But turns out she hasn't chosen her first lover yet, but it's time she be married anyway. And Lan's like, cool.
Yeah.
Good for her.
But wait, there's more.
And then Elaine is like, well, it's time that you were married too. And since none of your female relatives are alive, it's up to me to arrange it.
Uh-huh.
And then Lan's like,
wait, what?
No.
Wait, what?
Well, he even thinks, he says to her, no way. This is shameful. This is scandalous.
He does he kind of puts his foot down. He's like, I'm not doing this. Not even you being who you are. I'm not doing it.
And I'm not getting reined into this by you or anyone else. Like, period.
Except what happens next is like totally opposite of this, so.
God, it's gross. It's different though.
Yeah.
It's different than this, but anyway, Elaine says, sure, you won't be reined, but you do keep custom, right?
You
and he's
follow the
still
rules.
holding his gross hair. And then she leads him to the bed, and there are some weird power dynamics here.
Yeah.
Like they're going to do it.
Oh, they for sure are.
But
and do.
at least he can be in charge in bed.
Yeah.
So
that'll show her.
Creepy.
Yeah.
And then Lan thinks that he can't see any way out of stopping himself from marrying this woman's daughter, which is a wonderful way to set the mood.
It's great. Fantastic.
Yeah.
You know?
But
I think it's great writing for a culture of like when I criticize things I don't like, I'm not I think that it's fantastically well derived. Like it's fantastic the way he brings it all together and making it in a system that makes logical sense that I can dislike. I think it's great writing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what I said is in order to stop being married to this child.
Yes.
And not have to live up to this, like, be a king
custom,
of
McGuire
that doesn't exist.
Yep.
Maybe he could become a warder.
That's probably the best solution. It's a very Maureen doesn't want to become Queen of Kyrian, so she bails.
Yes.
And Lan is also going to bail.
Probably.
It kind of makes sense. We know that he becomes her warder at some point, so...
That's right.
It's just how that actually goes down.
Yeah.
I am so excited for you to finish the book.
Yeah, I'm going to go do it.
It's a good ending. I like it.
Good, then.
Yeah. Well, because you're always like, hey, I like things that I don't expect. Well, whatever you expect, it's not that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good, then.
I got to get you pumped up for the end of this book.
I don't even actually know what to expect because how much is there to actually be wrapped up? Because it's a single entity of a story, right?
Yeah, yeah, like this is it. There's no like,
this is it.
What happens next? It's not, because there is nothing else.
There is nothing.
The next thing that chronologically happens, we know, is like Eye of the World.
That's right.
And there's nothing more.
Which kind of sucks. I wish there was more.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah.
Okay.
And everybody else's.
Yeah.
All right. Now I'm going to say something really unexpected.
Oh.
No, it's not that unexpected.
Okay.
Before you get thrown into a pond and then take revenge for an entire week on that person for not saying sorry, I'm going to say that this is part of the pattern now.
It's part of the pattern.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. The Wheel Weaves is hosted by Dani and Brett, edited by Dani, produced by Dani and Brett with Essen, Passion Socks, Mozyme, Moltude, Benjamin, Michelle O'Brien, Jamie Young, Cody Fouts, Megan Smiley, and Jonathan Reese, with music by Audionautics.com. If you're interested in supporting us and the podcast, you can head over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. And for all things The Wheel Weaves, like how to get in contact with us, how to find our social media, how to join our Discord, how to send us really cool shot glasses, and for just general information, you can find us at thewheelweavespodcast.com. And as always, please remember to tell a friend about us, leave that 5-star review, and hit that subscribe button. Thanks again for sticking around to the end. This is really part of the pattern now.